morning, Dirty Bird Nation. Welcome to Talking Dirty. I am the David Philly. That is MiAsia Symone. We are back and talking about the Falcons. MiAsia, I don't know if you saw, but there was a bracket where the Falcons were letting the fans decide what the top Falcons play of the decade was. Do you know which play won?
No, I actually didn't see it. What was number one?
The number one play voted on by the fans was Julio Jones' catch in Super Bowl 51.
Wow.
Now, the reason why is I get it. It was a fantastic catch. But the fact that game, even, you know what I'm saying? Like, anything from that game to me is honestly null and void. I try to act like the game didn't happen. And if anything, the game should have ended after that catch. Yeah, the game should have just ended after the catch. But that was the top play of the decade. Like, that was it.
Did that inspire your background back there, Julio catching a...
No, I mean, you know, this is just a good picture of Julio. But I would say that if I never saw that catch again, I would be okay. Because every time I look at it, it's like, well, you know, if we had just run the ball 3 times in a row, kick a field goal, we would have won.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we're still waking up in cold sweats from that game. It's a hard pill to swallow. But what is I want to go ahead because we have a lot to talk about as far as the Falcons offense today. I want to bring in our 8-minute expert, Malik Brown. He's a Falcons beat writer for the Sports Illustrated Maven. He's also a co-host of the Clutch podcast and reporter for Crush Sports Network. Malik currently resides in Atlanta, and he mostly covers the Hawks and Falcons. He's been a member of NABJ since 2017 and how we met. So I want to welcome our fellow NABJ member, Malik Brown. Hi, Malik. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. We're excited to have you on the show today.
Oh, I can't wait. David, what's going on, bro?
It's good, man. We got young Malik in here. You know, I got the primetime shirt on one time, bro.
Oh, you should have told him I would have brought mine out.
Nah, you good. It's all good, bro. Yeah, I threw it on because it's laundry day. That's all. But yeah, I mean, you know, we worked on, Malik and I worked on primetime sports together at Georgia State. He came in, young cat, just wanted to get into the business. And me, I didn't know everything, but he said he wanted to learn some stuff from me, and I was learning. And as I was learning, I was teaching him, and then he started learning stuff and meeting people and everything. And I mean, now he's just got all this success. It's just been great to watch.
Yes, so we're glad to have you. We want to get your insight. We're going to be talking a lot about the Falcons offense today. And of course, the offensive coordinator is Dirk Koetter. Now, I personally believe that when given, like a necessary offensive line, he can put together a solid running game. And I feel like he knows how to kind of use his pawns. I mean, what do you feel? How do you feel about him? Do you think he's capable of, putting together a great offensive line this year?
I think he will. I know last season they had injuries on the offensive line, so that's probably why they weren't as effective in the running game, and that's probably why Matt Ryan was on his butt a lot. But other than that, I honestly see Dirk Koetter as a pass-first offensive coordinator. I feel like during his time, even when he was with the Falcons 2012, I think that was the year, but I think there was always a pass-heavy team, but when they needed to run, they got those yards. Last year, I can't say the same. The run game was horrendous, honestly. Of course, you had Devontae Freeman. He really wasn't the same back he's been the past couple of seasons, so that's probably the reason why they dropped off so bad. But also, Ito Smith, he really wasn't that effective. Brian Hill really wasn't that effective. So with Todd Gurley coming in, maybe you have something different. If you can maybe split carries with him and Ito Smith or whoever they have as the number 2 running back, that would be fine. I don't know if you want to put too much pressure on Todd Gurley coming in with all the injuries he's known to have with his arthritic knee or whatnot. So I think he'll have an improved running game this season.
My biggest thing with Dirk Koetter has always been just the failure to develop a running game, even with Todd Gurley or whoever he'll have, because you look at him having Michael Turner and the numbers going down. And I think what is encouraging, though, is the way that he's been able to use weapons in the passing game. So you're going from Roddy White, Julio, Tony Gonzalez, Harry Douglas to still Julio, Calvin Ridley, Laquan Treadwell, and now Hayden Hurst. Austin Hooper was a pretty good tight end, was pretty much the security blanket for Matt Ryan outside of Julio Jones. What type of impact do you see Hayden Hurst having on this offense?
I feel like the tight end has always been Matt Ryan's security blanket, so I think he's going to do well. I know Hayden Hurst talked about him and Matt Ryan linking up. Maybe I think it was last month. So as long as they get that chemistry together now, I think they'll be fine. Nobody thought that Austin Hooper was going to be that good of a tight end until second year he blew up, and now look at him. He's got a huge contract for the Cleveland Browns. So it's all about how the Falcons and Matt Ryan plan on using Hayden Hurst, but I think he's going to be that solid security blanket for Matt Ryan this season.
Now we are officially 72 days away from the first game. Kickoff, the Falcons take on the Seattle Seahawks here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. What do you feel about the season so far? Do you feel like there will be a season? I know a lot of people were questioning that right now.
Oh, so I know yesterday they just canceled the first and the fourth preseason game. So they're trying. I see them trying, but I think it will be a season. As far as fans, that I'm not so sure about. That's really still up in the air. I heard some things about letting a certain amount of people in each stadium. So I don't know how that's going to work. It seems like the coronavirus is getting stronger every month. So as far as fans, I think that's out of the question right now. But I do think there will be football. It won't be the same without the fans. But right now, we're not sure if anything is going to be the same as far as sports in general.
I did actually see something where they said there will be electronic liability waivers where people would literally, sign an iPad to NFL. The NFL, they want to have fans attend the games. Of course, when we talk about the NBA and other leagues, they're against it because, you already have players who are catching COVID-19 and families that are being majorly affected by this. I personally do not agree with a season this year. I mean, I'm looking forward to it and I'm excited and I love the Falcons. I just feel that just for the safety, if we had to let go, if NBA got canceled, I think NFL should be canceled as well, especially if there's a second wave of coronavirus.
Right.
And, that's always the most dangerous thing is talking about a player's health and then fans' health, and then you try to, mix that up. You look at not just the professional leagues, but high school, college, youth football. At this point, we're talking about children, students, and the biggest thing with college football is if there cannot be in-person classes, if student athletes can't be students first, then they're not going to get to be athletes. So it goes so much beyond the professional game. And I know here in Tennessee, there's an exemption that says the college teams here, the professional teams here when it comes to contact sports, they're exempt from the executive or from state of emergency that there's no contact sports, but still, that precaution still has to be taken, And I understand the whole money game and everything, but I mean, let a star player get sick and you can forget about it. I think at that point, one star player gets sick, okay, cancel the season. We can't have this. That's the tricky part.
Well, Malik, is there anything else you want to say before we let you go today about the upcoming season, if there is one?
I'm just ready to see what this Falcons team is gonna put on the field week one if there is a season. They went out in the offseason and made some moves, so I just want to see if everything will be able to come together. And with just all this COVID-19 going on, might not have a training camp or whatnot. How will that affect them as well? Would that improve their chances of being good, or will it just make their chances even lower? So it's really up in the air now. That's what I'm interested to see.
We appreciate you, man.
Thank
coming
y'all.
in here real quick. Record prediction. If there is a season, record prediction. Does Dan Quinn get to keep his job?
Ooh, oh man. So with that schedule, man, I'm gonna be honest. I gotta go 7-9. And I've said since I saw the schedule, I've said by week 3, week 4, week 5. If it's if they're 1-3 or whatnot, I think Dan Quinn is out. I think they let him go early.
What do you think the toughest game will be for the Falcons this season?
The Chiefs.
Peace.
For sure. Yeah. Reigning Super Bowl champions. They have to go there. It will be a cold weather game because it's late in the season. So we know the Falcons are not good in cold weather. So that's just a recipe for disaster. And they just don't have enough pieces on their defense, I think, to match up with that Chiefs offense. I think it's going to be bad.
Well, I'm excited to find out. I'm sure David will be watching. We'll be giving you all updates on that. And tell everybody where to follow you on social media.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _MalikATL.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And we'll keep in contact with you. All right.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
All right, brother.
See you.
Yeah, he's that's one of the youngins, one of my earliest. I guess he was technically my first mentee. Technically. Yeah, he hit me. So he hit me up on Twitter and was like, "Hey, I want to get into journalism and cover sports and everything." And I got his number and we started, talking every now and again. So when he was at Georgia State, I brought him on the prime time once I took over the show, and everything else from there has been. He's put in that effort. So, and then you look at it where he's at now, the Falcons website is Sports Illustrated. It just comes from hunger and hard work. That's really what it is.
And I think we all have that in common. Even though the National Association of Black Journalists is like a family, we all come together as one. But I think what we all share is that hard work, that determination, the drive and the hunger to succeed in whatever it is that we're covering. So, thank you for having him come on. Like, he was really, really, to me, a true expert. One of the best ones that we've had on the show so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. He's always worked hard, so I wasn't shocked at all. I knew he was gonna have something to say. I already knew.
Yeah.
You brought up those waivers, like signing the COVID-19 waiver to go to a game. Is that something you'd be willing to do?
That is something that I'm absolutely not willing to do. I really honestly feel like you don't know. Everyone's immune system is different, so what you might be able to handle, if someone gets sick, the other person may not survive it or be able to handle it the same way. And so you never know what you're getting when you come around people who are at high risk of catching the virus. But who wants to be, down and sick for weeks, for 2 weeks in quarantine because they decided to go to a game? And I just don't think that it's worth even signing to even show up, So I don't agree with the waivers. If they are going to have fans, it should be, I think they should sell less tickets if they're going to do it. It should be social distancing, maybe every 4 seats I don't even know how to do it, because how do you enjoy a game like that? Literally, I'm not really sure if I agree with that. What do you feel?
Well, I've been to a couple of sporting events where they socially distance in the stands. I went to a couple of baseball games where you were only supposed to sit in the odd numbered rows. You could only sit with who you came with. And then seats are about 18 inches. That's the average amount of seats. So look, that's like 1.5. So basically you can say 1.5 feet, 1.5. Luckily 6 is divisible by 1.5. So if I were to sit in seat 1, if you skip 3 seats, 1, 2, 3, you would be 6 feet apart from me sitting in seat number 4. And then you stagger the rows. It would have to be a very intentional process to figure out how to do that throughout a stadium. And how they go about selling those tickets, I'm not sure, because the Falcons already don't sell single game tickets. They don't do that. They do the season tickets and the personal seat licenses, and then you can buy them from a third-party website by the person who owns that seat. So how they go about that, I am not sure. But I do think if you want to have fans, then that's going to, you have to do a fully thorough, intentional process to do that. You can't halfway, say, well, everybody just sit 6 feet apart and, spread out. Mandated. There's a bunch of ushers at NFL games. There's all a bunch of security people. Make them enforce it for real. And also you could also tarp off certain rows. Tarp off some rows. Say no, nobody can sit here. This whole row is tarped off. And then that way you don't have a choice but to sit in certain seats. So that's kind of how I would do it if you want to have fans. Otherwise, don't have fans and make it an experience. mic up coaches, mic up players, because everyone's gonna have to watch on TV. So let us get a lot more sound and a lot more things in that. Let us hear everything that's going on the field. Let us hear what's going on the sideline. So it's almost like we are in the game, at the game, while we're watching it on TV.
Right. I think you're in the wrong line of work right now. You need to be like an event coordinator or something. I feel like, that was the most perfect way of explaining how we can deal with COVID-19 during the season. Because I wouldn't have thought of, if we're not going to do it. Because I was thinking, like, how do you give someone experience if there's going to be no fans in the stands? I was wondering, like, do you create a super large Zoom chat and have all the fans kind of on the jumbotrons around the perimeter, like cheering and yelling or whatever? I don't know how to create that. So that was a great way to explain how to deal with it.
I mean, some of the stuff, don't give me all the credit like that. Some of the stuff came from seeing people, seeing some ideas float on Facebook, Twitter, and looking at them and being like, okay, well, I agree with that, or that's, that's not such a good idea, or, whatever it is. But if we're going to have a season, seclude the players somehow, some way, because then you got to talk about travel and everything. So you got to protect your players and your staff members too. Like, you got to protect the staff members. If the offensive coordinator's sick, it's a whole problem. So protect everybody there. Probably, I mean, a lot of these facilities they pretty much have dorms to where when they do training camp, like, those players aren't going home. They're staying like on the campus of the training facility. So I know for a fact the Falcons have dorms. Now, I don't know if grown men want to do that for a full season, but if they want to play, then that may be an option there. So that's just how I would do it. That's just. But don't give me all the credit. No.
Now, another big thing that's happening right now in new headlines: the Black National Anthem will officially begin to play on week 1 of every NFL season from now on. How do you feel about that? And that's, of course, lift every voice and sing,
Oh, I know the song. I had to sing it when I went to Hampton. That was it was literally like an assignment. And however you did singing the song was your grade. It was crazy. But it's, it's very performative. That's not even what we've been asking for.
Right.
We've been talking about justice. We didn't say we want every white voice actor to quit playing black cartoon characters.
Right.
We did not ask for you to sing the Black National Anthem. We didn't ask for people to wear kente cloths and take knees. We didn't ask for that. All we said was, when there is police brutality against a black person, justice is served.
Yes.
That was it. A police officer put his knee on the back of a man's neck. It was torture. That move was not supposed to be used. It was police brutality by definition. And it took protesting and everything else for them to finally get arrested. Mind you, I saw a video where one of the other officers who was there, who was surrounding George Floyd at the time, they saw him walking around Walmart. So he's not even in custody right now. And so then,
actually the black guy that was involved. I think they said he's black. I think he was the only black officer in that whole crew that they around Walmart. So he's the light-skinned one with the beard.
Yeah. Okay. That might have been who it was. I saw the video and I was like, I just didn't have the energy. I was like, I don't feel like watching it. He's not, is justice going to be served, yes or no?
Right.
Because we have seen that's the problem. It's not just the killing. The killing is the problem. Yes. Killing is a big part of the problem. But the real issue here is that when we see it on video, and it shouldn't take a video for you to have some humanity. Be like, oh man, that's horrible. The story should be enough.
Exactly.
But
there's Breonna Taylor are actually still walking around.
That's what I'm saying. It's like justice isn't served. That's it. All we've been asking for was, if an officer of law oversteps his boundaries, he should no longer be an officer of law. It is that simple. If they're and the training is too short. Everything that goes into it. I mean, I remember that one video of the young lady who was an officer who was afraid that someone had messed with her food at McDonald's.
Oh yes, that
was she was meant, and people are talking about, well, maybe she's not mentally all the way there. Well, then she shouldn't have a badge and a gun.
Right. She should.
Like that. Like there should be so much that goes into that. There is so much training and things you have to do to become a barber, to cut somebody's hair. Like you cannot just get a barber's license. Cutting without a license is like, oh my goodness, why are you? I can't believe you're doing that.
Exactly. Same with makeup artists, hairstylists.
It takes a lot.
Hours and hours of practice. I mean, even Beyonce to put on a show for, Coachella, 10,000 hours of perfecting that performance. I think that nothing deserves anything less than, the ample amount of time. I mean, even if you're training with weapons and machinery, you have to know how to react to certain situations. If someone walks up on you, you can't react in a certain way. Like you have to mentally prepare for it. And I think it's all mental. And your mindset is everything when it comes to being a police officer. So I definitely agree with training needs to be more strenuous. It needs to be extended. It needs to be longer. It's just really, really, really hard to accept that anyone can be an officer. And honestly, I feel like these people who are doing the killing are maybe the ones who were bullied in high school and or just felt less than in life, and they get this job and they abuse their authority. That's just how I honestly feel, because nothing else makes sense to me. And we've been trying to make sense of this for years, and we cannot come up with an answer. So it just seems like if it's all mental, then they're not there mentally, and they're dealing with things emotionally from an emotional standpoint.
At the end of the day, all we asked for was justice. Right. It shouldn't take marching, burning, looting, rioting, whatever it is. Like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe we should punish and try these officers for murder. Like, no, it was murder, guys. Like, that's exactly what it was. So, that's really what it is. I don't need you to do the Black National Anthem. I don't.
Right.
And I bet you, and there's so many black people that don't even know the words to the Black National Anthem. Yes. I know it only because I had to do it for a test as a freshman in college.
Yes.
That's how I knew the words. And I had, I'm talking about the whole song, like the second verse and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think a lot of this is clout chasing or just doing something because it's trending. Like how an Insta comedian makes videos based on what's trending in the world. I think that's exactly what it is that's going on. You know that your business and your company will get more recognition if you are relative to what is actually going on. So a lot of it doesn't seem genuine. I do agree with them. I do agree with the NFL, who has decided to list the victims on decals placed on helmets and patches on the jerseys. Like maybe the players are playing and you can at least see some type of something showing their sympathy towards it. They also plan to produce educational programs teaching about the victims. And then the league has even revealed plans to increase its social justice footprint by pledging to donate $250 million over a 10-year period. So those are things that I feel are more necessary than adding the Black National Anthem. But you have to understand as well, they don't really know what to do in this case. It's just kind of like they don't understand us and they've never understood us. And so they're just trying their best to make it happen. And I know the NFL has been known for its racism, and it's been brought up many, many times that NFL doesn't care about black people. But I think that I honestly would take, what they have to offer right now. If they're trying to put educational programs to teach you about the victims and the people who's lost their lives, and they decide to, place the names of as many of the lives that were lost on, the gear, I just feel like these are steps that we're making towards it, but don't let this just be a thing because it's trending.
And that's just it. Doing stuff because it's trending, not because you really want to. There's no need for them to really go out there and I had a friend of mine call it doing the most while doing the least.
Right.
Like you're doing the most, but what are you actually doing? So I just actually stand and take some action. But don't do all this performative stuff. That doesn't do anything for me. Give Kaepernick a job.
Yes, I agree. He needs a job, and that's a whole nother story for a whole other episode, because we can go on for hours about him and his situation. it's a lot of I told you so energy going on right now. So, David, can you tell everybody where to find you on social media before we head out?
Yeah, you can find me at Deacon_Schiele, SCHIELE on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me here on YouTube at 5 Wars Geek, DEAC, 5 Wars Geek. That is the gaming channel. If you want to see some Madden content, some NCAA, all that. If you like gaming, that's where you need to go.
Yes.
That's how you find me.
You can find me on all social media at MiAsia Symone. That's MiASIASYMONE. Very simple, but complicated name at the same time. I really appreciate you all for tuning in today for episode 5 of Talking Dirty. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned because we have a lot more to talk about in a couple of weeks for episode 6. And it's MiAsia Symone and David Schiele on Talking Dirty.